Well, boy, howdy, this is Mr. K's, and this is 13.4b. 13.4b. We've been talking about the church wielding power in the Middle Ages and how the setup was that they even had their own church justice with canon law. And two of the harsher punishments you could face was being excommunicated or kicked out of the church, or interdiction, in which the king faced the prospect of not having any church services in his realm, which really cheesed off his people and would force him to obey what the Pope said. Today we're going to be looking at a clash between the Holy Roman Emperor and the Pope. It's going to center over something called lay investiture. If you are a layman in the church, you're a non-professional church dude. And it had to do with the king and nobles appointing church officials. In this case, the king would appoint bishops. Now, bishops were very influential religious church dudes, and the king wanted to limit the power of bishops, and so lay investiture was a way of making sure that the people that you appoint were going to be your friends. And the church resented that. And the clash is going to be over the Pope and the Emperor struggling over who should appoint bishops. In 1075, Pope Gregory VII banned the process of lay investiture. When word got back to the Emperor, Henry IV, he met with his princes and sent off a letter to Gregory VII, and it was a very mean letter calling the Pope a false monk. Well, promptly, Gregory VII excommunicated Henry IV. When that excommunication came down, the princes backed the Pope, not Henry, and Henry wanted to save his kingdom. So what he did is he went over the snow-peaked mountains to the city of Canossa, where the Pope was staying, and begged him for forgiveness. Now, as a good Christian, the Pope has to forgive, but he wanted to make Henry IV pay, so he waited 3 days before he granted forgiveness and reinstating to the Roman Catholic Church. Okay, Henry, get up off your knees. You're not excommunicated anymore. Well, Henry promptly went back to Germany and then started to deal with his rebellious princes. Nothing was really solved. About 50 years later, after that showdown in Canossa, representatives of the church and representatives of the kingdom met at the German city of Worms. It looks like worms, but it's pronounced Worms, W-O-R-M-S. And 50 years after this, roughly 50 years after this showdown at Canossa, there was an agreement. It was called the Concordat of Worms. Concordat just means an agreement, in 1122. And what it stated is that the church has the right to name bishops. And that was a shot in the arm for the church. But the emperor has the right to veto any appointment of bishops. So that does give a little power to the emperor. Because again, what the emperor wants to do is limit the power of the church. Well, that didn't solve the problem totally. There's going to be problems all the way through the Middle Ages. We're going to see an emperor, Frederick I. He is going to be elected by 7 princes of Germany. Now, in the very fact that princes elect the emperor just does not have as much power. He was nicknamed Barbarossa. His red beard led to being also known as Barbarossa. B-A-R-B-A-R-O-S-S-A. Barber, beard. Rosa, red. Now, Frederick I is going to do the same thing as Otto and Charlemagne before him. He is going to take his German armies and raid the rich cities or invade the rich cities of Italy. This is going to anger Italian merchants. It's also going to anger the Pope. And there's going to be struggles again. Eventually, Frederick's knights were chased away by Italian merchants backed by the church. They defeat Frederick in battle. The central power again dissolves. Now, what made the Italian merchants successful is that they used crossbows, and crossbows were powerful enough weapons to be able to put a short arrow or a bolt right through armor. So it chased Frederick's army back up into Germany. Now, Germany is going to remain separate. German states remain separate. And two things are going to be emphasized here. Number one, power struggles with the church and with the empire kept feudal states fragmented in Germany. Do you ever wonder why Germany does not become a modern nation before France and England? It's because of these struggles in Germany itself. It keeps the empire of the Holy Roman Empire fragmented. And number two, these conflicts were among several reasons that Germany remained disunified during the Middle Ages. Well, actually, what I've just said is actually one thing. But Germany basically stays disunified. It's over religion, it's over political power, and it's going to lead to Germany actually not getting its act together until the late 1800s with Otto von Bismarck and then later Paul von Hindenburg, and then a guy you know well, Adolf Hitler. That's for another time. This is 13.4b. Mr. K's, I'm out.